EA have always been upfront about the fact that they would one day reactivate the microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it seems like that day is now upon us. But while EA's changes seem positive, is it a little bit too late?
Battlefront 2's loot boxes and progression system caused such an uproar when the game launched in November that EA switched off its microtransactions entirely before the game even launched. The game uses star cards as the main form of progression for players' online characters, meaning you needed to unlock and equip them to improve your basic stats like damage resistance and weapon power in multiplayer. That's fine, but the problem was, of course, that the only way to get those star cards was through opening loot boxes. No one liked it, and it caused such an uproar, with EA initially intending to actually charge money for those loot boxes, that politicians have been drawing up laws against that kind of thing in future. Well, we all knew that microtransactions would come back in some form eventually, and EA's now confirmed when that is and what it will look like.
On March the 21st, Star Wars Battlefront 2's microtransactions will go live alongside an entirely revamped progression system. The Battlefront 2 progression update, announced on Friday, March 16th, will crucially remove star cards from the game's loot boxes, thereby separating the game's character progression from the randomness of loot boxes. Instead, players will earn experience points for the classes, heroes, characters, and vehicles that they actually use in-game. Earn enough experience, you level up, and gain a skill point to unlock or upgrade the star card you want to equip. It's kind of a skill-based progression system that lets you improve your character based on how you play the game. It's kind of a crazy new idea, but we think it might actually catch on. This is the crazy kind of thing, right, that they were sitting in a meeting somewhere and they were like, guys, we need to think outside the box. They're not happy. What should we do? Some hippie in the corner says, how's about we do this? How's about we actually reward them for playing the game and not just throw them in randomly? Can't imagine what kind of hippie came up with this idea. Or...
What a brilliant idea, skill-based progression system.
I mean, they did deserve
Let's dial down the sarcasm, Mike. This is good news.
Are they here for the sarcasm, Mike? Dial it back up, dude.
Now, the loot boxes will still be there, but you can't buy them through any kind of currency. Instead, you have to earn them through logging in every day or completing challenges and milestones, and even then, they'll only contain cosmetics and credits. The return of the microtransactions come in the form of a premium crystals currency, which you can spend on cosmetics, and which you can buy with in-game credits as well, or find in the strictly earnable loot boxes. Now, that's direct purchasing, no randomization, they're just straightforward microtransactions. It's a big departure from what EA had put in place for the game's launch. EA closed its press release announcement saying, quote, "These changes are a major step as we continue to improve the core of the game and add new content. And there's lots more to come in addition to continued balance patches. We will also add a number of modes to Star Wars Battlefront 2 in the coming months, offering several standout brand new ways to play." Now this all sounds very good, but is it a bit too late? For AAA games, I don't think it's ever too late now. I think Ubisoft have proved that with the huge turnaround with games like Rainbow Six Siege, even For Honor last year, The Division, Ghost Recon Wildlands to an extent. They're good at keeping games alive even when there's kind of a dip to begin with. Now EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2, although it probably would have had huge sales, even though they were underwhelming, a lot of people would have still bought it because it's a Star Wars shooter. It's about getting those players back in and getting the game out into the hands of new customers now with this new look kind of image, new progression system and stuff. They're going to probably heavily discount it and stuff, put it on the PlayStation Store, Xbox Live, like on the PC and everything. They're just going to discount the crap out of it probably when this update goes live, trying to get more people into the game. Maybe they can resuscitate it, but it might be a little bit too late for all this, I think.
I think a lot of people are still angry at EA, and it's quite evident in some of the videos and some of the articles that you read and you see. People don't want to forgive EA for doing this because it was so bad to begin with. You've got to give them a little bit of credit for changing it and basically implementing the best system that they could have done based on all the feedback and everything that people were saying about it. They couldn't have done much better than this. This is the best version of the game that they could have released for the players that had issues in the first place. So you've got to give them credit for that. Otherwise, there's no reward for doing that in future. They'll just keep being shitty because it's the same either way. So for them, I think EA, congratulations. You shouldn't have been shit in the first place, but we're not going to dwell on that too much. Let's look to the future now. Let's see what we can do from this, and not just for this game or not just for EA, but for the future of the industry, right? We've learned a lot of things from this whole debacle with EA. We've learned that player power is more potent than ever, okay? They can't get away with shit anymore. We stick together, we make our voices heard, we can make people like EA change their fucking games. That's huge.
This whole incident has had a huge impact on the rest of the industry, and we've reported on stories in the last couple of months of developers and stuff saying, oh my god, no one's going to do paid loot boxes anymore. People are completely backtracking. This is a complete U-turn from EA, essentially. This is basically what it is. It's an absolute U-turn, and that's just doing what everyone else is doing in the industry now, thanks to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and not wanting to go anywhere near that kind of thing now because it's such a kind of poisonous image. It's such a toxic image to have for your brand. Even Disney, Star Wars, they were hurting because of this system. You can't get much more fan loyalty than Star Wars and you know, the kind of fan power that Disney kind of commands with all their brands and IPs. So even they felt worried and damaged a little bit by just the terrible implementation of loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront. This is a complete U-turn. This is where the industry is going to go now for the next few years. This will have positive impact. If you don't like loot boxes, if you don't like what was in Star Wars Battlefront 2, then it's going to be better for the next few years as a direct result of this, and this update is proof of that.
The only other question mark for me is the fact that microtransactions is no big deal over it now. Whereas before this whole thing kicked off, everyone was like, microtransactions in any state shouldn't be in AAA games. Now, they seem like a lot of people are like, well, it's fine. At least it's not what they did.
That's my response. I was like, well, this is normal. Great, they've gone to normal.
It's all right now. Which I mean, EA have created this. EA made it feel like it's all right to be just regular microtransactions. When you sell a $60 game, it should be the whole content. It shouldn't be add-ons. It should be cheat codes. It should be extras that you can unlock by playing the game, not by getting your credit card out. And that's the big kind of downer on this whole thing for me. I don't want to be too negative about it, but you know, I can't help but have that bitter taste in my mouth. So where do you sit with this EA Battlefront situation? Is this any sort of resolution for you at all? Have they done enough? Have they not? Let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here, check out more of our content on your screen there. Support the channel if you want to. We'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.